Dungeon Doomhands Let's Talk Lore, a podcast.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Lore. Roll high and subscribe if you haven't. Hit that button. I'm Spencer. This is Chris. Opposite side this time. We are going to be building a kingdom. And let me switch over to our tabletop simulator. There it is. Chris, want to talk about the kingdom? Which kingdom are we building?
We're building the Sky Kingdom. We, in our game, Agoth Doomhand and the Skulls of Power, we have decided to chase a magical staircase that leads up to the Sky Kingdom. This Sky Kingdom is filled with Sky Dwarves and Loxodon, who are in a discussion about whether the world is round or flat.
Correct.
I mean, discussion, aka fight, battle.
It's debate.
And we know it's high in the clouds somewhere. We don't know how it's set up or how it's built.
Right. And what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be building the city, the Sky Kingdom. Now, I would imagine that the Sky Kingdom is going to be made up of a bunch of different islands.
Like floating islands?
Right. So...
Well, question, how do you envision is it like a castle sitting on a cloud?
So my vision is it is a massive rock that it's just floating islands, no water.
Okay.
Right? And yes, but the weather changes. So like the water, imagine the water are clouds. I'm trying to figure out the mechanics for sailing there. The dark clouds are going to be things that you might need to watch out for.
Lord, absolutely.
Yeah. But so yes, the mechanics of the city, and we'll get into that later, things are going to move around. Everything's going to be shifting. Not tremendously, but, you know.
It needs to. That's what makes it cool.
Depending on the roll of the table, how cloudy is it, essentially. Now,
or like what direction the wind is coming, all the other buildings.
I want to make this
float
as random as possible. So, how many islands do we have that make up this city? Now, the sky is going to be full of islands, but the Sky Kingdom is going to be a kingdom of condensed islands.
Like islands that are packed together.
Maybe they're tethered together.
With and bridges connecting them.
Yes, it could be magic. It could be anything.
Just chains.
Yeah.
Chains and rope.
Yeah.
Physical tether. Come on.
Yeah. So how many islands are there? So do you want to...
So this is like the main city in the Sky Kingdom?
Yeah.
So...
You gotta have...
I would say this
plus...
You'd have to have some that are Loxodon.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll get into the districts.
Cities and some that are that. So you're like at least 2 or 3 each.
Yeah, I would say...
So at least 5.
So at least 5. I was going to say 5 plus 1d10.
Say 1d6?
1d6.
Or 1d10?
Yeah, just because, you know.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be... Imagine you're, you know... So let's do... So it's 5, and we'll roll this 1d10. And we got...
I can't read that number.
We got a 6.
Just like real dice, I can't read.
Yeah, you just hold the mouse over it. So 6. So we'll have 11
cities.
11 little islands, or big islands. Now, we did this... The last time we built the city, we had like a
list of like temples or
so castle, temples, but we don't have to be specific with these because we need the number. Like you're gonna have to have ports, and then you're gonna have living, number 4, living conditions, or living residential spaces.
We have 11 islands.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do a lot of rolling or a little rolling? Do you want to determine the size of each island?
Well, let's see what's on them. right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I feel like there will be 2 castle type things, right? They're definitely going to be at least 2 plus 1d4 temples.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be 2 plus 1d. I'm just making this up. 1d10 ports. You're going to have. I mean, each island has its own port, sort of.
Right.
But like large trading ports. And then living districts. You're going to have at least 2 plus maybe 1d4.
I would think you'd have 1 per island, so 11 plus.
But the islands aren't massive, so it's like you'll have a large island that has
a larger residential area.
Maybe you have a couple islands tethered together that make that.
Okay.
So let's roll. You roll now. How many castles are we having?
I'd say a D4.
Yeah. Okay.
D4 plus 1, so a minimum 2, because you need at least 1 per side. 1 dwarf castle.
So let's roll that, baby.
I got the D4. 3, so 4 castles.
4 monarchy buildings.
Yeah.
And then you got temples, religious temples, or something else. You know. To I would say D4 again, probably, because you're gonna have at least 2.
Yeah. So 2 plus D4.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1. So 3.
3. Wow. So what's the third one? That's gonna be fun. Number of ports. So like trade, maybe
Of like large harbors.
Yeah, large harbors.
Or
harbors.
Harbors. Yeah, because you got many docks where a single ship can come, but large trading ships or place of industry or military. A D6 of those.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe there's 1 massive.
It could be.
Harbor.
Oh, you almost had
4.
So 4, and then living districts.
I'd say there's either a D8 or a D10.
Let's do a D10. Let's make it.
You
weird.
roll that one.
Let's make it weird.
I've rolled a lot of the other ones.
All right, come on, baby. 0, 7.
7.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, so we have 4, 7, 14, 18 areas. So like trying to figure out how to do this. So then you're going to have, that means that you have to have islands big enough to have both of these, which makes sense because you got temples and stuff. So
yeah.
How did I do that here? Hide you. Oops. All right, so you're going to have the castle. Let's just make this harder than it is, but
so how many castles total are we having?
So you're going to have, I'll just do this quickly so we can do it. We're going to have 1 castle with a port.
Well, I was thinking we could roll all the dice on the board and draw it out.
Oh,
See
shit.
what groups together.
Yep. That's perfect. Okay, love it.
So the
all right. So we have 4.
Are the castles.
Yeah, we have 4 things. D20s are the castles.
Oh, I can't clone these. That's a D12.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
So and then
So we need 2 more D20s.
So we have 3 temples.
Okay.
We have, let's make the D6s the living areas. So that's going to be 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're missing the ports, which will be
D8.
Yeah, D8. Let me get rid of these
Perfect.
guys. Yeah, whatever those are.
That's a D8.
And then how many are there? There's 4. So clone this guy. All right. This is probably, and we need 2 more of these guys. This is probably one of the more enjoyable ways of that we've adopted from some weird. I don't know where I read that, but this guy I saw, thank God for Instagram, he just had this idea, and he said you should just take your dice, label them as what type of building they are, what type of area they are in the city, and just throw them out randomly, and then see where everything sort of sits. So you just pick
I'm thinking, grab one, alternate. I grab one, throw it. You grab one, throw it. Let's see what comes out.
I'm just gonna. Okay.
Grab one and throw it on the board. Well, is that a port?
I don't know.
Oh, no, that's we'll see at the end.
Yeah, I'm zoomed so far out. All
right.
All right.
Now it's you. Oh, I'm gonna come from the other side. Let's see. Oh, almost didn't get it on the table.
Yeah, I'm gonna come down.
Oh, dead center. Look at that.
It's building out. It's coming quite nice. Let's see. Come on, baby. Living area. This way. Ooh, this is the professional way to. Oh, I hit one.
There's outlier over here.
It's a port.
Oh shoot! Didn't get on the board.
That's hilarious. All right, let's see what we got here. We'll move this guy in just a little bit so we can see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we randomly rolled our buildings in our areas. So
we have 11 islands, right?
Yes, we have 11 islands.
So can we draw 11 circles? Let's say one. Oh, let me make this bigger. Can't see anything. That's like one island, like two islands.
Maybe this one wraps.
Maybe
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, that's too big. That's too big.
6. Oh, no, it's fine. You could have an island floating on top of an island. No.
Oh, it's on. Oh.
Yeah, well, they move around
Like that.
You know.
Yeah. Well, these could be tethered together, and this could be.
Yeah. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then maybe these two living.
Oh.
Living.
This one. Yeah, this one up here is above, and this these two are below.
Yeah, that's good.
And this one is one massive island.
All right, let's erase.
Wait. Erase all my
that line.
horrible stuff.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so now we've done it. Okay, so now I'm going to change the castles a color so we can see them. This is going to be hilarious.
Oh, got a castle down here.
Nope, can't do it. I'm just going to have to highlight it.
Yeah.
I'll put it in.
What color is a castle?
Castle would be, I guess, red.
Okay. Castles are red. I got a castle down here.
Castle.
Oh, you got two on one island?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's crazy.
Oh, castle right here.
Hey, maybe that's the main one.
Yeah.
Now we'll do temples. Let's do those.
Temples were what? D6s?
Temples were. There's only 3 of them. No, 6s were the living quarters.
Or the D12s?
Yes. So here's a temple.
Yellow.
Here's a temple. And here's the temple.
There it is.
Wow. Ports are
nice.
Ports will be, I guess, green. And that is the D8s. Sort of worked out. This port by itself. Maybe it's a broken down port.
It's the big one that needs all the space.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll do orange for the last one. Let me just, because I want to save this for my reference.
Residential areas.
Yeah, the residential areas. All right, so now we've built the city, and
We have made a smiley face.
we've made a smiley face. So you got like, how does this affect the way we're gonna do it?
We got one more.
Oh, residential area. So the residential area. So these guys over here are going to be very religious.
Yeah.
These guys over here are also going to be,
religious.
Well, and there's a castle on there. So maybe
this is the Loxodon.
Yeah, it's shaped like a tusk. The island, maybe the island's called Tusk.
Could be.
I'll have to look up Dwarven and then
Or I think the two different colors of of our islands work well with the Loxodon and the dwarves.
Oh, nice! Look at that.
So you have the Loxodon here. They have two residential areas. They have this port over on the side, and they've connected through together. Like maybe there's like this long rope bridge or this path that connects those two islands together, and they connect to this other religious temple that's right nearby. You have the like dwarves. They have different clans, so you have multiple dwarf.
So the Loxodon are going to be sort of like outsiders, and here's world building for you. And
I like that.
To go back to your previous Let's Talk Lore thing, how do you have the aha moment? All right, well, you're already going to be aha crazy because you're in the sky, right? You come across these floating islands. There's one massive one. There's a bunch. There seem to be tethered together. Maybe the Loxodons are tethered together with chains, and the other ones are tethered together with some sort of like either magic or wood bridges.
Yeah.
Maybe dwarves would have built bridges. Yeah.
Well, dwarves would have built stone bridges.
Yes, that's
firmly connected to them.
Yeah.
The Loxodons are rope bridges that move with the islands.
Float. Yeah. And now here's
terrifying.
So, the history of this place, real quick. I'm gonna build it for Monday night. The dwarves were on their own, and one day, these three islands floated up next to them, and it turned out that they were Loxodon, also on floating islands. But the history is no one knows where they came from. Either side has the same sort of sense.
They sort of just came out of the clouds and saw each other.
Yeah, completely different religions. Obviously, the Loxodon are going to believe that the Earth will roll for that, either flat or round, and the dwarves are going to think they're flat or round too. Opposite. So right now there's debate, but the aha moment, and spoiler alert, the aha moment probably will come when and if a third, another island shows up with another sort of species or
someone new.
Yeah.
And Spencer, we already know the Sky Dwarves believe the world is round from the Sky Dwarf we met in the Underdark with Mike Trison.
I give you some inspiration for that.
Thank you.
Wait, the dwarves are flat?
No, the dwarves are round.
Wow.
The Sky Dwarf was round.
Trying to figure it out, trying to solve the riddles. So we're gonna circle back to the Sky Kingdom and building it probably later, because there's so many mechanics with this thing. But I like the way we built the map. It was a little long-winded, but that's how I like to build the maps. Just throw it out, sort of try to know what's happening politically and like between just a normal citizen there. Like, what do they want? Are they miners? Are they, I feel like the Sky Kingdom is going to be actually more of a happier place, because that's all they think they have. Maybe they trade with people down below, but I feel like a lot of them are going to feel safe. You're on your own island floating in the sky. You never have a bad day, really, unless
you always get a nice sunset.
Yeah. But like the mechanics of it's gonna be crazy. So it's like the islands are gonna move. Maybe some dates, I have to read up on it, but I won't, because I like to introduce like somewhat real conditions and things. So like you're that high up, if you go any further, maybe some of the islands end up going a lot higher. Maybe some of the islands are higher.
Yeah.
And if you go up there, there's levels of exhaustion because there's not as much oxygen. Maybe when you come back down, you feel a burst of energy. Maybe you actually, because you've been practicing in the Alps for your marathon.
You've been deprived
for so long. You come to New York to run your marathon, and all of a sudden you have all that oxygen. Yeah. So maybe there's some items like that we can,
yeah, incorporate.
Make
absolutely
to enhance the immersion. But yeah, that was cool.
I like it. Well, it also helped create the story of the city, which is, I think, the hardest part to do.
Oh yeah, I think that's perfect. I love this. I just can't wait to now lore, like, how did they get there? Like, who was first? They both think they're first. That's the thing. It's like, you have these debates, you have these cultures, and you have these temples, and people think that the world's flat, and the other group thinks that the world's round, and they're on floating islands, and they just like one day they just appeared in front of each other, and
the question is, you can't steer a floating island, can you?
I don't know.
Can you attempt to? Do they have sails on them that they try and steer it with?
I don't know. And what's attracting them? Is there gravity pulling them in towards each other? And then like, probably not. But yeah, how do you steer it? And then, but what I was saying is, they both think that they were there first. So it sort of adds on to that like debate. They're going to be stubborn as hell. Dwarves and Loxes on debate. That's going to be very funny to roleplay. It's going to be you guys just sitting there watching me talk to.
For the past 100 years, they've all been saying, "All right, thanks, bye. I'll see you later." Yeah. Waiting for the other ones to leave.
The one where it's like 20 years later. It's the same. It's the same thing. That's hilarious.
I love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I'm as a player excited to come explore this place.
Oh yeah.
And I think with the ports are for skyships. So we would have to be able to get there with skyships. With our skyship. But I was thinking of a mechanic of like, because there's the elevator, the staircase that goes up. That's the guaranteed way to get up to the Sky Kingdom.
Yep.
But I was thinking, what would be a hazard that someone who's not used to going to the Sky Kingdom would know how to get through? And you already answered that with the storm clouds. That unless you get a training to know how to read the storms, that you're just anytime you try and go through there, you're just gonna get soaked down, electrocuted, and just destroyed.
Yeah, imagine
unless you have the license and know how to read it and navigate through.
Yeah, so
like other ships and captains.
We can do another Let's Talk Lore episode on sky mechanics next time, because I have a couple because the first one is the first episode, or the first scene is just going to be sailing and mechanics, because you have to have a crew and captains, and I've fine-tuned our the captain's going to have a plus on morale, and the morale saves of the crew. I sort of lost track of that.
I like that.
As you're going to be mutiny, and you have to keep them happy, and who's going to be doing it. And I feel like you as players are going to decide who's captain, who's going to be steering, who's going to be quartermaster, and all this other stuff. And then reveal the pluses and minuses of the roles, because if you're too stern with the crew and blah blah blah, but there's and like, how do you as a group navigate? So like, you're just use the clouds and we'll move on. There's going to be dark clouds and you're going to be sailing. You guys aren't going to know it. They're just clouds.
Yeah.
But if you hit one, imagine like taking the full force of a storm and its electricity at once.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the cloud has a 1d10 HP, and that sort of determines when it's going to start raining or not. And you just nail it. Like, your ship's going to get damaged and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if it's a big storm? Ship stays put. Ship is stuck. Like, your movement, the movement of the ship slows down.
Well, your ship gets wrecked by the storm.
And then what's powering the ship? Well, you have to fill it up with mana from some sort of type of crystal. Where do you find those? You have to go mana fishing. Where do you go mana fishing? There are these other islands in the sky that have mana.
Or you go mana fishing in the storm clouds.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Or the mana fish.
Yeah, and you could also
the manta rays.
Maybe they have mana. Maybe it's going to be hilarious, and they have mana gas stations. You know.
Ooh.
But that's how the dwarves.
We have a skyship now. We have to
easy pass. You know. And then maybe there are like policemen that they give you tickets.
Cops.
They give you tickets for speeding and driving in.
Those smaller airships that we were looking at, those are the cop airships.
Pull over.
Put some lights on that.
Yeah, you go over to Stag. Have you been airshifting? Have you been drinking and flying an airship?
Drinking and sailing.
Yeah.
No, officer. I've been drinking and observing from the bow.
Let me play this song for you.
Would you like to come downstairs?
Yeah.
I'll give you a full tour.
Yeah. Peter Jackson, the guy that you guys fed to Sprock. Come downstairs. Are you hungry?
Sprock with what he needs.
Help Sprock cook. He really needs a brain. That was so funny.
Goodness.
This is going to be really good. Very cool map. Very cool map. Mm-hmm. Those of you who just joined, we just did a show on how to build the map using dice only, and it sort of worked out in our favor. But when it comes to storytelling, pretty cool. We will see you on Monday for our Agoth Doomhand. I gotta build this bad boy out. It's gonna be sick.
I'm excited to see how you build this in tabletop.
Yeah, it's gonna be
cool.
Roll high, subscribe.
Join us Monday to see how Spencer builds this.
Dungeon Doomhands Let's Talk Lore, a podcast.